Hi, my name is Cameron Baker, and this is my TED Talk. Raise your hand if you own a pet. Okay, now everyone with their hand raised, I want you guys to think about what you guys had for dinner last night. I know. Now keep your hand raised if you had a meat or some form of meat product for dinner last night. All right, let's try something new. Raise your hand if you own a car. Pretty large amount. Now I want everyone to keep your hand raised if your car has leather seats or some form of a leather interior. Wow, there's a lot of you guys. Now you may be wondering, why the heck should I care right now? Yes, I drive a car with leather seats. Yes, I have a pet goldfish, and I ate some chicken for dinner last night. What's the big deal? Well, that's exactly why you guys should care. Because the reality of the situation is a lot of people go through their day-to-day lives without recognizing how much of a role animals play in them. So that leads me into my question today is, how do animals impact our day-to-day life? Well, where does it start? Well, it starts just like everything else does, with us. Ironic, isn't it? We are the top of the food chain. We are the primary consumers. So with that, we've established a mentality where we feel that it's only right that we reap the rewards of Earth, and Earth is ours. And the reality of the situation is that we can't really do that. And it's not to say the government hasn't created endangered species lists, laws, and fines to keep us from destroying the Earth, or at least attempt to do so. But it is to say that a large majority of the human population here has no idea about the roles that animals play in our ecosystem. We really only see the tip of the iceberg. So you may be wondering, why is this? Why is it that I'm so unaware about animals in my life? Well, it's these guys' faults. Ironic, isn't it? The poster child of the animal kingdom. Wouldn't you expect them to be animals' ambassadors because of how friendly and furry they are? Well, if you think that, they're actually the culprit for this animal illiteracy, and here's why. In statistics released by the American Veterinary Medical Association finds that the total cat and dog population in the US is a whopping 143,985,000. That is huge. And in households that say they own domesticated pets, 66.9% of them say they own either a cat or a dog. That's crazy. Let's put this more into perspective here. Let's take the third and fourth most popular domesticated animals, birds and horses. Combined, their total percentage, is a meager 4.6%. And their combined population is merely 13,156,000. You may be wondering, well, why is there such a steep drop off a cliff here? Why is it that we focus so much of our time and attention on dogs and cats, or specifically dogs, than to any other animal? And if you're still wondering it, well, it could be that people don't want to come home and see this. Yeah. And they'd rather come home and see this. And it's not to say that a friendly face behind your furry friend means something, but the reality of the situation is that dogs and cats go way back with us. And when I say way back, I mean way back. As early as 40,000 years ago. That's 1/5 of our existence. Specifically dogs here. Let's focus on them. They started out as wolves, primarily, and 40,000 years ago, we began settlized agriculture. We moved from a hunter-gatherer society to more of a permanent farmers. We became self-sufficient. We began producing our own food. And with that, one thing led to the next, and our trash became their food too. Well, it's funny to think of it like that, because in an article published by the Indiana Public Media Association that covers the studies conducted by Harvard University, UC Davis, and Stanford University, finds that humans alone have introduced 122 genes linked to domestication in dogs and cats alone. Holy cow. We have put so much of ourselves in these animals that it's so hard for us to really look past them. We've created a situation where we've allowed dogs and cats to overshadow the animal population. And because of this, it's not to say that other animals aren't important in our lives. Take, for example, here, the eastern mole. Cute little guy, isn't he? Primarily located in North America, where we live. We know him as a pest. We know him as something that comes in our lawn, eats up our flowers and our garden, and it makes our life a living HE double hockey stick. Yes, but what we don't know about them is they're actually one of the primary predators to termites. And without them in our life, the roof above our head right now might not literally exist. let's focus on something else. Let's focus on an example here on less on how animals impact us, but more on how we impact animals. Wilson, how many football players do we have in the house? All right, I see two of you guys. So, the Wilson Football Company, the official football provider for the NFL, says that they produce on average close to 700,000 footballs a year. And trust me, I like football. That's great for a lot of touchdown passes and highlight reels. That's awesome. But if we break down the math behind it, if it takes one cowhide to produce 20 footballs, the Wilson Football Company kills close to 35,000 cows a year. For their leather, that's just for our entertainment. And I talked with my grandfather about this, and he made a great point to me. He told me that we don't just kill cows for their leather. It's only a byproduct. It's not the primary product. So this led me to think, well, what is the primary product? Why is it the reason that we kill animals? And what I found is that we like animals alive, but oh my God, we love them dead. Holy cow. In studies or statistics conducted by the United States Department of Agriculture, it's found that the average American consumes close to 131.898 pounds of meat a year. That's 11% of our diet. 1/10 of what we eat is meat. So to put this in an even bigger perspective, in an article published by Animal Equality, one of the leading activist groups for animal rights, said that, this is alarming, the human population slaughters close to 56 billion animals a year. Holy cow. Yeah, I know, you get that one. All right, to put this in an even greater perspective, in 2014, the Ice Bucket Challenge arose as a fundraiser for ALS, and it was really popular. But ALS, on average, kills close to 5,000 people a year, and it's a terrible disease. But we kill close to 3,000 to 5,000 animals every minute. Now, you may be wondering, why is it that I'm so unaware of the animals in my life? And why is it these statistics right now are so alarming to me? And if you're still wondering that, it all comes back to, like I said earlier, it comes back to us, right? It comes back to the fact that we've created this mental idea where the earth is ours. But the reality of the situation is that this little blue planet right here isn't ours. And if we keep up our habits, we're gonna get out of control. And so what I challenge you to do today is I challenge you to go outside and recognize how animals impact your life. And I'm gonna leave you on this note. There's a lot more than just a friendly face behind your furry friend. Thank you.